Lions and NFL Talk. I'm Eric. This is my co-host Xavier, and welcome to Heartland Huddle. Like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. You can search us at Heartland NFL Talk. You can catch us every week for our insights, for our predictions for the upcoming week, and of course, post-game reactions to the Chiefs and Lions. And also, don't forget to catch our End Zone Insights segment, to where we kind of go around the NFL and talk about different storylines and narratives there. But please like and subscribe at our YouTube channel every week at Heartland NFL Talk. And with that being said, Xavier, you know what? I just want to get right into it. It's why can't we win by more than 10 points? Why can't we win more than 10 points? The Kansas City Chiefs.
You know, I sit back and I watch the Chiefs and I be like, man, they play some boring ass games. It's supposed to be
until the fourth quarter, until it's time to win.
Yeah, and it's like, what the hell, man? Like, they just be so relaxed and they just cruising along in the game. Like, watching the game the other day, I'm like, what a snoozer, man. You could fall asleep on the Chiefs games.
Against the Las Vegas Raiders team, on their second or third string quarterback. A Las Vegas Raider team that has two receiving options, Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
And guess what? Jacoby Myers isn't even that good. Brock Bowers, stud rookie tight end. They have one option, and we can't shut him down.
No.
Horrible.
You know, and I think that's why when you look at the season, you know, because they're comparing them to, of course, like Buffalo, Baltimore, you know, Detroit, Philly, and stuff like that. It makes sense as to why they're putting Detroit up here above them. Although, you know, for a while they had 1+ more win than Detroit because they were undefeated for a while. They would still put Detroit above them because of the dominance that Detroit would show against teams. You know what I'm saying? Whether they're losing teams or not, Detroit is battling out. They running the ball. They fun to watch. They this, they that. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at the Chiefs, man, it's like they had a lot of games where they didn't even hit 20 points. It's like, why do Patrick Mahomes not get 20 points? It just doesn't make sense.
Against the team,
I don't understand it.
Against the team whom, like I said, defensively, all they have is Max Crosby. Offensively, they have Brock Bowers and a second or third string quarterback. All Brock Bowers did against us was 10 catches, 140 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah.
They've got one option. How do we not go into the game? They had the worst rushing attack in the league, right? Coming into the game, they had the worst rushing attack. Give me just a second. I wanted to look something up here. Worst rushing attack in the league.
That's another thing too. I'm gonna say something while you look something up.
Yeah, you're good.
And I know it's Andy Reid. He's supposed to be the best X's and O's offensive head coach in the game. Mm-hmm. He gets away from the run a lot. It's like him and Patrick, it's like they both be on the same page just to become pass heavy. Like, no, play a strategic game. Keep running the ball and run off a play action. It worked for everybody else. Like, why do y'all get away from the game? You got Isaiah Pacheco back, use him. And you got Kareem Hunt, use him.
And to that point, that's exactly what I was looking at. The Chiefs had 16 attempts for 63 yards yesterday, whereas the Las Vegas Raiders coming into the game with the worst rushing attack in the league, averaging about 65 a game, 25 carries for 116 yards. And then you let Brock Bowers go off for 10 catches, 124. The defense has gotten worse, and we'll get to the offense in just a second, but the defense has gotten worse, Xavier. We started out the season as the number 1 ranked defense, moved to number 3. It was just a carryover from last year's postseason run to where we could be anything we needed to at any given time in any game to go win it. And suddenly, we've gotten worse over the back half of the season. And I don't understand. Our cornerback play is abysmal. Najee Johnson, Jamari Conner, you guys are on the bench. Joshua Williams, you look like hell yesterday.
Yeah.
And Justin Reed had a couple of big hits, but why are we letting Brock Bowers run loose? You slip in coverage, you give up a big touchdown to him. Or even Chris Jones had a couple of sacks. Thank goodness, where you been at? oh, well, he's double or triple teamed. Blah, blah. I don't care, Chris Jones. You lobbied for all of that money. First 2 sacks since week 4. And so I don't understand historically over the last 6 to 7 years. The Chiefs defense has started slow over the last 5 or the first 5 or 6 games. And then the back half, we turn it up. Guys start gelling, scheme, understanding, all of those things. And now we're regressing. And I don't know if Spags needs to go back to the drawing board and simplify some things. I don't know, what needs to happen with our defensive line in terms of pressure and all of these different things. But the way it's going right now, we can't stop a cold, bro. We can't stop a damn runny nose. And it's discouraging.
Yeah, I mean, y'all still holding teams to, 17, 16 points or less, which is good. But you would expect for the Chiefs to be just dominating people, and they not. And then when you look at the teams they play, they're really not meeting their match. They did once with Buffalo. You know what I'm saying? That was meeting your match. So when you play teams that are as good as Buffalo, you can damn near expect a loss coming. You know what I'm saying? Or they would have to fight 2 or 3 times as hard as what they're already fighting. But I was sitting back and watching that game against the Raiders. I'm like, and the Raiders was playing hard. Like they was trying to win.
Yeah, and
you looking at the Chiefs and you're like, what are y'all doing? Like you can see
about it. Yeah.
Go
ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say you could see that they have a way to win. They was just getting away from what was working. I watched a couple of teams do that over the last couple of weeks. They would run the ball good, and then it's like they end up getting pass happy, and it's like, what the hell are you doing? Do you not remember that you was just running the ball good? Like, come on, let's stop. Don't get away from the run. And I don't know, man. I hope Andy Reid to get it right. And Andy Reid, he's a brilliant dude. He should know not to do stuff like that. I don't get it. I see him make mistakes. Of course, he ain't perfect, so he's gonna make mistakes. But the Chiefs, man, y'all getting down to the nitty gritty. It's getting down to the nitty gritty. Do you want the number 1 seed? Do you want to keep the number 1 seed? It's gonna be hard to hold on to because these.
That's a great question. That's a great question. That's precisely the question that, we're looking at. And to the offensive point, Las Vegas outgained us 434 yards to 329. And the only reason why, you talk about turnovers, getting off the field or turnovers, you think maybe the defense took the ball away. No, 1 turnover. And it was the fluke botch snap fumble to win the game yesterday was the 1 turnover that we forced.
Yeah.
Right. And what I don't understand is, to your point about the offense, it's a combination of things. And that's it just looks like a jumbled mess. Now, in fairness, DeAndre Hopkins had the big 3rd down drop yesterday. Patrick Mahomes scrambled. Crosby was on him. He stepped up in the pocket, hit him right in the chest, and D-Hop flat out dropped it. That extends that drive. We probably go on to kick at least another field goal, maybe score a touchdown, right? And you look at disconjointed things like that, too. You also had a little out pattern. I forgot what the route's called, but you had a little out pattern run by Worthy. Maybe Worthy could have got maybe a yard or 2 of more depth on that. But Patrick Mahomes just flat out threw him, which we've seen multiple times this year. So chemistry, timing, accuracy, dropped balls. It's just and then to your point, not sticking with that run. 16 attempts and you got a 2-headed monster in Pacheco and Kareem Hunt. Should never happen. I
tell you, Worthy and Hopkins, those the 2 best players on the field. Them boys be balling. He also missed Hopkins in the back of the end zone when he caught it with one hand, but he was out of bounds because he kind of like overthrew him a little bit, but he still caught it. That could have been a touchdown. Yeah, I think they end up settling for a field goal right there.
Yeah. So, Patrick Mahomes, 26 for 46, 306 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah. He had an off game. I noticed that. It was several throws that he just wasn't making. It's a lot of throws he hasn't been making. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe he's just off right now. I think he'll snap out of it and get it together. I think all quarterbacks go through that sometimes, though, man. But they'll just be off. They be off at the wrong damn times, too. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah,
man, you can't have all day today.
I mean, it's one of those things. And to your point, I want to go back to the do we want the number one seed? And that's looking at it, Xavier. Obviously, Buffalo has the head-to-head against us, right? The tiebreaker. If we do finish with the same record, we're only a half game up on Buffalo with just the one less loss. I think I said that right. And you're sitting here and you're looking at things and you're going, well, hell. If we play like what we did on Black Friday against the Raiders, if we play like that going forward, which we have this entire year, other than the Saints games, by the way, side note, 5 straight wins that were decided on essentially the last play, the last second, by some fluke bullshit.
It shouldn't be like that when you're supposed to be the best in the league.
Exactly.
It just shouldn't be like that.
Now, historically, to be fair, even under Patrick Mahomes, his entire tenure, we don't blow teams out, right? Which is fine. And I'm not. I agree with you. When you're supposed to be the best team, when you're this juggernaut team, and you've been doing this at a high level over the last 5 or 6 years, do we ever beat people 41-20? No. However,
you have before.
We have, but I'm talking about consistently, like the Lions have done the last couple of years, and that's never been the Chiefs' MO. It's get down by 10 points, Patrick Mahomes puts on a Super Bowl cape, and then we come back and we win the game. But I'd like to see some 31-21. Let me get a 28-17. Let me get a 35-20. You know what I'm saying? And looking at the rest of the schedule, hell, you go Chargers here this next Sunday Night Football. We play like that against them. Chargers are going to beat us in our house. You go to Cleveland. We've seen Jameis Winston, of course, be froggy with what he's doing, knocking off a nice Steelers team the other night. And then, of course, you got Houston. You go to Pittsburgh, tough defense, and end the year with a tough road matchup against the Denver Broncos, whom you beat with the blocked field goal in the last seconds to win the game. So we play like we did against the Raiders, we might have 2 or 3 more losses, which then the Buffalo Bills then surpass us. They get the 1 seed, and we're sitting at the 2 or 3.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, and then you know these guys are professionals, they pros. You know they're sitting down having those conversations like, bro, we're getting away from what we do best. Like, why? You have to ask yourself why. But sometimes it happens though. You know, the mid-game decisions. They not even thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? There's not a chance to come back. Let's just pass the damn ball. No, still play strategic. Still run the ball. If it's a 7-8 minute drive, so what? Who cares? That's a good thing. More time you have the ball, less time they have the ball. Come on, that's the common sense thing. But I'm sure they have these conversations. And like you said, you look down the stretch of them AFC teams you got to play. Whoo, shit is going to get harder and harder. And they got to be ready. They got to be mentally prepared. They got to want that number 1 seed. Because one thing we know about the Chiefs is they don't play for money. They play for Super Bowls. That's what you guys have proven to us the last few years. You know what I'm saying? You don't play for money. You play for Super Bowls. Y'all haven't been acting like it none this season. Just luckily, the teams that you're playing, they're depleted or they have no stars on there. GM is trash. Head coach is trash. Luckily, y'all been playing a bunch of teams like that. And if not, who knows what the record would be? You know what I'm saying? Like who knows? But like you say, y'all got a hell of a stretch these last few games. You know, I'm going to be watching every last one of them. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
They got to get it right there. And like you said, we could help you guys because we play Buffalo in a few weeks. So that's going to be a hell of a game. I think that may be the most watched game by the end of the season. We'll see. But
they
got to figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you look at it and you say, you know, there in the second half, we're looking at punt, field goal, punt, and then of course Raiders had the fumble. So when it's time to win the game, we haven't been doing it, not by our own accord. And that's the
Yeah.
frustrating part. And I don't think the Chiefs are taking people lightly. That's always the narrative that's out there. Oh, well, the Chiefs are sleepwalking through the regular season. I've even said it on this podcast. Hey, they experiment a little bit, trying to figure out what's work. That's why when they get to the postseason,
Yeah.
they can pull out Noah Gray. They know that, Worthy's does this well. They know that all of these different things. And I don't think they're taking the Raiders and things lightly. Like you said earlier, I think they're just playing down to their competition. And it's
Yeah.
discombobulated. It was good to see
Yeah.
Travis Kelce, but then the rest of the people don't eat. And
Yeah.
so it to me, now here's
But
the
him
thing.
and Travis, man, they've been disconnected. Like, too.
It's like this. I don't know. Like I said, there's this overall miscommunication. Not to speak of our offensive line play. Our tackles have been
Yeah.
horrible. Why aren't we playing Humphreys at left tackle? We just picked DJ Humphreys up off of waivers. We just signed him, right, from the
Yeah.
practice squad. Put him in there
Be
for
ready
Wanya
yet.
Morris. Wanya Morris looked terrible. Give up 2
Yeah, he might
sacks,
not be
2
ready yet.
easy free sacks. Put in Humphreys there. Now, the last thing on the Chiefs, and I've been a cynic this whole pod so far, but you know me, I like my positivity. I'm usually a chipper guy, Xavier.
Yeah,
I
but
can't.
it got you on edge. I'm sure it got all the Chiefs fans on
They
edge
do. However,
because
and
you looking at these games and you're like, damn, some of these games we really should be losing.
they do. However,
But
my optimistic point to you, Xavier, and the rest of Chiefs Kingdom, if it wasn't for last year, I would be killing the Chiefs. What are we
yeah,
doing? Which I
yeah,
still am. But we've
yeah.
seen it. We've seen it. And that's what we ask from teams, sports entertainers, anybody who is performing. We ask that they bring their best when it matters. Playoffs,
hmm
postseason, Super Bowls. And that's what the Chiefs do. That's what they did last year. They went on the road, Buffalo, Baltimore, then beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl. And what I believe is a worse team last year than it is this year. Maybe not on the defensive side of the ball. So if we wouldn't have seen what we did last year, I'd be killing the Chiefs. But at the end of the day, I have faith in Kansas City. Because how can I not? I can't doubt them. I can be
You
mad.
can, yeah, you
I can
can.
be
Yeah,
frustrated.
that's about all you can be. Like you said, you can't too many times. They made it to the end too many times. So yeah. Good
So
reason to not.
absolutely. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Chris Jones. I can't do it. So that's it there on the Chiefs. Frustrating win, as oxymoronic that is. And we'll see going forward, and we're going to have to close it out strong. Now, flipping to the other side, sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. However, this is called Heartland Huddle Chiefs Lions NFL Talk. So let's flip it over to Detroit, and let's go to Detroit Lions. Hey, by the way, you can catch us every week on our YouTube channel at Heartland NFL Talk. Please make sure you're liking and hit that subscribe button. Comment. Let us know what we can do better. Let us know what you want to hear. Let us know what you want us to discuss. We want to engage with you. You can also check my monologue series every Wednesday. It's just a fun, tongue-in-cheek narrative about the historical culture of Kansas City and the Chiefs. So turning it over to the Lions. Big Thanksgiving win. First Thanksgiving win since 20.
Yeah, since 2016, the
Since
first
2016.
Thanksgiving win for Dan Campbell and Jared Goff. So,
Yeah.
excuse me, yeah, that was exciting. At no point in that game that I think we were going to lose. Uh, did we kind of slack a little bit in the second half? Yeah, because we pretty much shut them out in the first half. But no point in the game that I think we won. Any game I watch with the Lions, it's like at no point in the game that I think we lose. So, they just rolling along. And I was talking to a buddy of mine. He was like, "Yeah, man, I thought it was." I was like, "No, I never did." I said, "But you got to understand, they just played the game 3 days ago. They tired. They worn out. They need a break. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to bounce back from a game, taking all of those hits and running and everything, and you got to play in 3 days after that. You know what I'm saying? And you get the early game. You don't even get the night game. So, and you still come through with the win. And Caleb Williams played his ass off toward the end. He tried to come back and win, but with bad head coaching decisions, which we've seen several times last year, even in the NFC Championship game, we were supposed to be in the Super Bowl. But, and I love what I'm seeing with the Lions. They've been consistent. since Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes got there, they've been consistent. Once they got that winning record, they're holding on to winning records. And I think for Lions fans in the state of Michigan, that's just what we want to see. We want to see that consistency. And we all see that it's there. We all believe that it's there. We all believe that it's not going anywhere. Even with the loss to Hutch, now a loss to Malcolm Rodriguez, he tore his ACL on his way to the locker room, tore his ACL.
What? I
Alex
didn't hear that.
Sanzalone,
I didn't
yeah,
hear that.
he
Say that
was
again.
he came off the field for another injury. I forget what it was. That he was going to the locker room to get it checked, and he was walking down the stairs and tore his ACL walking down the stairs.
Malcolm Rodrigo, our guy Rodrigo.
Yeah, tore his ACL out for the
No
season.
joke. I didn't know that. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
it was like third. I want to say toward the end of third quarter, Thanksgiving Day. Yep, tore his ACL. He's out for the season. So, but Brad Holmes, I give it to him. He's been doing a hell of a job with replacing guys, taking guys off of other teams' practice squads and putting them in, and they just coming in and they jumping right into the flow of things. You know what I'm saying? So we're not missing a beat, but we're still losing key players. You know what I'm saying? So and that list just keeps adding up. You know what I'm saying? So it's tough. So luckily they got a week break to try to get Alex ain't coming back. Rodriguez is not coming back. We won't see
Jay.
Aiden Hutchinson. Even if we go to the Super Bowl, we won't see Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, they're talking
Just,
about bringing
just,
him. Now,
just
Xavier, I've got to push back a little bit. And overall, I agree with your assessment of the Lions. They've been dominant this year. They've dominated the bad teams like they should, unlike the Chiefs, right? Because you play who's on your schedule, and I do believe in that. And they've dominated those teams, right? And they've looked really good, unlike the Chiefs. The Lions, they've squeaked out field goal winners. They've squeaked out one score possession type ball games, so it's a narrative of how do you want it? Any way we need to beat you, we can meet you, we can close games, all of that. Pause for concern on my end watching that game on Thanksgiving. I was a couple turkey legs deep. I made some deviled eggs, They were fantastic. And I'm sitting there watching this game, and I see Caleb Williams, a rookie quarterback who struggled over the first half of the season, who's turning it on in the second season. I saw in the second half a Detroit ball team who hasn't given up a second half touchdown in almost 4 weeks, and all he does is slice and dice you in the second half. 3 passing touchdowns on Detroit's defense over the second half.
yeah.
You can't have that if you're Detroit.
No, but it makes sense to me. Well, number one, did you see Keenan?
Yeah.
He is a pro's pro. And they had Meek
absolutely.
Robinson on him. Carlton Davis didn't play.
I know. Terrion
A
Arnold
little bit
wasn't in there,
deeper.
too. Terrion Arnold didn't play
He
as
played.
well.
Yes, he did.
Oh,
He
I thought
played.
he was out. My bad.
No, he played. He was on Romaduzzi the majority of the game. He was on Romaduzzi the majority of the game. But they had a Meek Robinson on Keenan Allen, or he would go over and he would guard DJ Moore. I told you before, you can't really stop them dudes. You know what I'm saying? And once you get to doing all of that scrambling crap, Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph, they told you, yeah, I know y'all got us labeled the best safety duo in the league, but it's hard as hell to guard somebody for 15, 20 damn seconds while the quarterback is running in circles. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna give up something. You know what I'm saying? And that's fine that he sliced and diced. He should have did something because you didn't do nothing in the first half. Did you see the first half?
I did.
They went 9 plays.
I did, but Xavier, you
3
guys
back-to-back. It doesn't matter what happened. I get what you're saying.
No, go ahead. I'll let you finish. But no,
It doesn't matter.
That's incorrect.
They shut him out in the first half. Like I said, these dudes is tired. Fuck them touchdowns. At no point in the game did any Detroit Lions fans think we were going to lose that game. No point.
See, for you to say that is asinine to me, right? Because here's the reason why. Who had the ball with time left to win the ball game and drove all the way down, and then their dumbass coach, who just got fired, Matt Eberflus, I might say, terrible clock management. They're kicking a field goal and should be tying and going into overtime. That's not on the players. That was on the coach. But what
It's
I'm
not
telling
on
you is,
Detroit either.
but it is, because here's the thing. Yes, it is. What I'm telling you, X, is for you to say at no point did I think we were going to lose the ball game. At some point, you thought you were at least going to go in the overtime and have the opportunity to lose the ball game, because all Caleb Williams did was throw for 3 touchdowns in the second half, drive down against your defense, and have an opportunity to kick a field goal that his coach wasted. So for you to not say that Detroit you didn't feel that Detroit was going to lose
You
or
can
not to go to
see
overtime.
that them guys were wore out. You can see it. Do you know how many times? Listen, do you know how many times they had 15 to 20-second plays where they chasing receivers? Explain to me how long a DB can lock down a top tier receiver in one play. What is average?
7 seconds, or
They was doing it.
about 4
They were
seconds.
doing
About
it
4
double
seconds.
that time. They was doing it double to triple that time. Just they running in circles until he get a pass off. Any quarterback can do that when you got quick feet. That's why I say it was gonna happen. He's running in circles. He's getting out of the pocket, and then you got the DBs like, well, damn. I gotta go here. I gotta go here. Of course, there's gonna be somebody wide open for a damn touchdown, especially somebody like Keenan Allen, because he's watching Caleb Williams the whole time. That's why he had 2 touchdowns. And then DJ Moore just beat Brian Branch. And only reason why he got beat, Brian Branch didn't think Caleb Williams was gonna hold the ball that long. And they was this close from sacking Caleb Williams on that play too. But they didn't. When you gotta hold the guy that long, of course there's going to be some touchdowns. It's a common sense thing. If you watch these plays in its entirety, they talk about it all the time. Man, it's hard as hell to hold somebody for 8 to 10 seconds when all they got to do is just move around and the quarterback
Patrick
running in
Mahomes
circles.
for 8 years. I know. We have the
Exactly.
very best. But what I'm telling you is, Xavier, so let me ask you, and this is the crux of it, right? And this is where you and I always get going at it, is because the question is, who are you going to see in a Super Bowl?
So what? And if they lose that way, they just lose that way. We don't have a defensive line.
You can't say
Line is not elite. We don't have an elite rusher on the defensive line.
You can't have it both, Xavier. You can't have it both ways. You can't go, guys can't cover for 20 seconds, and when a quarterback runs around and scrambles, let me finish. But that's what I'm saying. But then you can't also say Detroit's so dominant and they're just going to go win the Super Bowl. You can't say that.
Say that. I ain't never said that. I ain't never said that. And I hate people. I hate hearing people say that. I ain't never said Detroit's so dominant they gonna win the Super Bowl. I ain't never said that. I complain to you all the time that I hate hearing people talk about, oh, can Detroit win a Super Bowl? No, let's just say make it to a Super Bowl. Forget all of that winning crap. Just say make it. Because they putting this jinx on this team, and then the media makes it a bust when they don't win. Just say make it. Because you never know what's going to happen when you get there. You don't know what's going to happen in the playoffs. We may meet our match in the playoffs. And you ain't never heard me say that. I complain to people when I do hear them say that. Oh, Detroit can win. No, stop saying that. Just say, can they make it? Because we have no idea what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? But back to what I was saying. That's why Patrick Mahomes get a lot of those crazy-ass passes off once you done ran around for half the fucking quarter. Them DBs can't hold them receivers that long. Can't nobody do it. The pass rush can't get to him because his feet are too quick. We know Detroit defensive line for the last couple of years have been infamous for that. They'll be right there with their hands on the quarterback and can't grab him. Now he done ran around for another 5 seconds and threw a touchdown. A quarterback can do that. That's common sense. If you sit there and watch the game, every touchdown he threw, he had the ball for 10 seconds or more before he threw the damn ball. Of course he's going to throw for 3 touchdowns. That's crazy to not think that. But when you watch at the end of the game, I'm sitting there, I'm like, damn, this idiot ain't going to call no timeout. I don't blame Caleb Williams. He's a rookie. He can't do that. The coach, the head coach, has to be watching the damn clock like, oh, snap. Timeout. All right, let's flip this way. Let's get this way. Let's get in the field goal range. Hurry up. Get back to the ball. Snap it. Kick a field goal. Let's tie it up going to overtime. We'll just take our chances in overtime. That was a head coach fault. And so in watching that, at no point in the game did I think we were going to lose. But it was the head coach fault. Did he turn it up? Yeah, when you done ran around 1,000 damn circles before you threw the ball doing that college stuff that he was doing. That's how he got drafted out of USC. Because he knew to spin around crazy shit and then throw the ball back across the field. Of course you're gonna get off like that. DBs can't hold nobody that goddamn long. They talk about it. I watch every interview they do. That's the first thing they talk about. It's hard to hold somebody. You just can't do it. So when somebody get a catch off on you or a touchdown, you think Aaron Glenn gonna talk shit to him? Nah, because he understands. Damn, you just held dude for 25 seconds. Of course it's gonna be a touchdown. That's common sense, man. You gotta
I
watch the game in its entirety. You have to look
I
at those.
watched Patrick. I watched the greatest quarterback of all time for the last 8 years, who's done it better than anybody in the history of the game, run around and make crazy throws with his left hand. I know it is common sense. However, but that's the difference. I look past all that, Xavier, because here's what Lions fans do, and fans that are new to winning, is they look at that and. Do you see how we react to a shitty win? Chiefs Kingdom reacts to a win by being pissed off. Detroit gives up 3.
When I never said that it wasn't.
But you'll sit here and say the Lions will get the 1 seed. They're going to be dominant and they're going to go play people and they score 52 points and they this, that, and the third. And then you wonder why at the end of the season when the Chiefs are holding up the Lombardi and the Lions are sitting at home, you wonder why. It's because games like this,
they just got good. The Lions just got good.
No.
Let's pump our brakes a little bit. They just got to this point to where they're winning consistently. Is what I'm saying. They went
9-8 their second year. They went to the NFC Championship game last year, and they're 11-1.
All right, now stop right there.
And they're 11-1 this year. They didn't just get good.
Which makes you think? I said over the last few years. The last few years is 3 years, man. Come on now.
Oh yeah, but they didn't just get good. You act like this is They didn't just get good.
They just got good over the last few years.
They went to 3 playoff appearances under Matt Stafford, Calvin Johnson, and those boys.
Yeah, but they hit rock bottom after that, and the team had to be completely rebuilt. We know that. We sat there and watched. That's when we became friends, and we've watched this come up together. They completely stripped the team apart. They rebuilt the team. It's only 2 players on the team now that was on those teams back in 2016 and 17 and 19 and all that. Frank Ragnow and Taylor Decker. Those are the only 2 players that are from that team. The offensive line. That's it. You see what I'm saying? So this team has been completely rebuilt. Nobody on the defense was on that team. Nobody besides those 2 was on this offense. We just got to this point to where we went in like this. Detroit ain't never had.
Okay. Let me ask you. Who's the best team in the NFL right now? Both in their respective conferences. Kansas City Chiefs 11-1, Detroit Lions 11-1. Who's the best team in the NFL right now? If the Detroit Lions and the Kansas City Chiefs meet in Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans later this year, in February, who wins the game?
Detroit.
See, there it is. But you just sat there for 5 minutes and said, we can't cover if a guy runs for 5 or 10 or 35 seconds. What do you think?
Yeah. No. I'm about to tell you why we would win because of our offense. And you know that. Our offense will dominate the shit out of space.
Oh, hell.
And if we were to play right now, we had a game tomorrow on Sunday.
Sure.
You wouldn't think in the back of your mind that Detroit could win that game. Now, if we played tomorrow.
No, I wouldn't.
Wouldn't think.
No. And here's why. Because I just saw a rookie struggling quarterback in Caleb Williams throw for 3 touchdowns and 300-plus yards against Detroit's defense. No. And what I do know, here's what I do know. Over the last 8 years, we've won 3 Super Bowls in a 5-year span. We played in 4. We've gone to 7 straight AFC Championship games. That's what I do know. I do know that in the fourth quarter, in every quarterback metric, Patrick Mahomes is the top 3 in every quarterback metric in the fourth quarter. And if Detroit's going to give touchdowns to rookie struggling quarterbacks in Chicago in their own division at home on a primetime Thanksgiving game, then what I do think is going to happen is the greatest quarterback of all time is going to win the Super Bowl against said team, Detroit Lions. That's what I know.
I think so. And I think he's for a rude awakening too. This is what I'll say. That's fine that he scored. And I'm with you. They shouldn't have allowed that. They should have been sacking him. Which they did. They got quite a few sacks off the other day. I'll give them that. But like I say, when you can run around for that long, it's just hard, man. And like I said, they would beat this place. And it's fine. It's all good. And we play them again. I honestly think when we go to Chicago, we might lose that game.
Yeah, well, a little forecasting, looking ahead here. And just last note on that too, on Detroit as well, is what I am encouraged by, and I know I give you hell, but what I am encouraged by, clean football. We're still disciplined. We're still taking care of the football. Not a lot of penalties. Penei Sewell, by the way, Xavier, might be just the flat out best player in the NFL. I might give him that title.
Now,
That's over
now take
T.J.
this into
Watt.
consideration.
Yeah,
Mhm.
go ahead.
We got a lot of top tier players on our team.
Oh gosh, you guys are probably hands down the most talented. And here's the thing, it was stupid. And the broadcast even alluded to it on Thanksgiving as well. Every run that went for 20 yards was just off of Penei Sewell. They just get behind him. They
Yeah,
literally just say, collapse that side of the defensive line, Penei Sewell, and we're just going to
yeah,
run behind you. And David Montgomery, this is what they do. They run up to the line, and you can see it. Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery run up to the line. Penei Sewell collapses the entire left side of the defensive line, and then Jahmyr Gibbs cuts back right there, and he's off for 25. And I'm like, good
just gone.
Lord. They just,
Yeah,
that guy, Penei Sewell. But no, to your point, looking ahead, hey, big Thursday night primetime game, Green Bay in Detroit.
in
Now,
Detroit.
I want to stay here for a second. Let me ask you, honestly, are we as confident against Green Bay with what we've seen from them over the last 4 weeks from when you last played them?
On the defensive side of the ball, it's them receivers are ball.
Jordan
Who
Love's
is it?
played well.
Reed, Christian
Romeo Dobbs,
Watson,
Christian Watson,
Romeo Dobbs.
Josh
Yeah,
Jacobs. Josh Jacobs he's earning that
yeah,
paycheck, that brand new free
yeah.
agent
He's on it.
contract.
Yeah,
Boy,
he's earning his paycheck. It's gonna be a fight, and I think that we should have our entire secondary back. Of course, the linebackers are gonna get shuffled around. We don't understand that. The only person that will be out there that we know is Jack Campbell. Everybody else we won't know. Um, I don't know. It's just gonna be another one of them Aaron Glenn tests. Come on, Aaron
yeah,
Glenn. That's it. The big games have to count for the head coaching job. We understand you've done enough to even get one now. Because
yeah,
believe me, these teams want somebody like you because they don't have it. So another big test for Aaron Glenn. Carlton Davis to be back. It's just better when he's on the field too. When Carlton Davis is on the
yeah.
field, that secondary is better. Everybody out
And
there,
and I
Purdy,
think, and
Ryan,
real quick, I think in that secondary it helps alignment. That's that veteran presence, that alignment,
yeah,
the communication that Carlton
yeah,
Davis has on that back end, especially in their
yeah,
man-to-man coverages, and especially in some of their checks when you see Joseph and
yeah,
Branch and Aaron Glenn do some of those exotic blitzes. Now, I
yeah.
did want to get to this too. This is what I was going to say earlier, and I was kind of saving it. Was after that tough game, Buffalo comes to Detroit. And
Yeah.
Xavier, as a as a Chiefs fan, this is
Hmm.
where we can come together. And I just want to say,
Yeah.
man, we brothers. We brothers. I'm going to need
Yeah.
Detroit to do us a little favor with Buffalo right there. Get
Yeah.
themselves a little win. Buffalo
But
screaming
my
down our necks.
the overall scope of the Lions, the way I look at it, is we have the team to pretty much win any game. We have that team.
Yes,
You know what I'm
I agree.
saying? So
I agree.
is it gonna be a tough game? Yeah. Next week is gonna be a tough game. We get a mini bye. We get more days to get rested up, to get our bodies prepared, mentally prepared. Is it gonna be a tough one? Hell yeah, it's gonna be a tough one. Because Josh Allen, he's another one of them quarterbacks that's just hard to touch. He's hard to touch. If you don't wrap him when you
Very.
touch him, he's hard to touch. And we tend to have problems with quarterbacks like that. Although
Yes.
we can still win the game, but
Yes.
we have to lean on our offense more. But like I say, that's going to be another test. I think every game the rest of the season is
And
going to be a huge test for Aaron
And we
Glenn.
need you guys. We need you guys to beat Buffalo. We need them off of our heels because, as we just talked about, the Chiefs have a razor thin margin when it comes to getting that one seed. So if you guys can knock
Yeah,
them off and get that third loss on their ledger, I like our
yeah,
chances dramatically. The Chiefs for that one seed. So yeah, you've got the Packers coming up. You've got the Bills.
mhm,
You go to Chicago. You go to San Francisco. And then you finish up, of
yeah,
course, that divisional game
yeah,
against
against
the
Minnesota.
Minnesota Vikings back in. And I want to zoom out here. Great rhetoric, great discussion on the Chiefs and the Lions there. Once again, folks, make sure you guys like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're at Heartland NFL Talk. You can catch us every week for our insights, predictions, analysis, response, and reactions to the Chiefs and the Lions. Now, I wanted to go to our End Zone Insight segment. Brought to you by absolutely nobody, but we will take anybody. Let us know. Hit us up. Let us know in the chat. We'd love to engage with you. So, I wanted to zoom out here and talk about, real quick, I wanted to ask, Coach of the Year. Coach of the Year. When you think of Coach of the Year, who's your top 3 coaches of the year with what they've done, the teams they have, the records they have? Who's your top 3 coaches of the year candidates or finalists you'd have at this point in the season?
I like Jim Harbaugh. I like what he's doing.
Okay.
I like Kevin O'Connell. I like what he's doing with Sam Darnold. No other team has been able to do that with Sam Darnold. I like who else do I like? I want to say Sean Payton. I like what Sean Payton doing, but I also like what Mike Tomlin is doing too, because nobody thought the Russell Wilson experiment was going to work. It's working. So I don't know. Yeah, I'll go those top 3.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll even put Dan Campbell in there because he's done enough to win Coach of the Year the last 2 years, and he didn't get it. So just scratch him out. I'm looking at coaches. I picked Jim Harbaugh because he came in and turned the team into a winning team.
Yep.
Who else did I say? Kevin O'Connell. He's winning with Sam. And who else did I say?
Flores, yeah. The defensive coordinator. And the Denver Broncos, Sean Payton in Denver.
Sean Payton, he's doing it with it. Looked like he got his quarterback. It's going to take him a couple more years to catch that good groove with him, but they got a chance now to build the team because after the season, they won't have to pay Russell Wilson anymore. So they'll be able to continue to build the team and add to the team. So, yeah, I like what Sean Payton doing with Bo Nix over there.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't mind that pick. I'm gonna one up you though. I'm gonna go. I do like Dan Campbell, but it's interesting, and I pose the question because Dan Campbell, 11-1, first time in Detroit's franchise history they've won 10 ball games in a row. Fantastic. Off to the best start in franchise history. We like them to at least get to a Super Bowl. We like what Detroit's done. And to your credit, yeah, he has done more than enough to get Coach of the Year over the last 2 or 3 seasons. However, if you're going to give it to a guy, why wouldn't it be Dan Campbell? But my question is, too, where does Andy Reid fit in there? And here's why I say that. You have a ragtag corpse of wide receivers, injuries. I know you've got Patrick Mahomes. Your defense hasn't looked that great over the last 5 or 6 weeks. Where does Andy Reid? Do we get voter fatigue? Is it just a case of LeBron's the best player, we could give the MVP to him every year? Michael Jordan's the best player, we could give the MVP to him every year? Is it, Detroit's been good, they just went to an NFC championship game last year, so we're not going to give it to Dan Campbell? But where does Andy Reid fit in that, and why doesn't he get more consideration when you want to talk about scheme and you want to talk about getting guys open? You want to talk about player development and coaching. I don't think there's anybody better than Andy Reid in Kansas City.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it just boils down to who's doing the voting and what are they basing it off of. Because I think when you're doing voting like that on that type of scale, it has to be a list of what you're basing it off of. You know what I'm saying? Or is it basing it off of the eye test? And I'm with you. Andy Reid, he should have got Coach of the Year the last 5 years, but nobody acknowledges him for it. That's why I say nobody's going to acknowledge what Dan Campbell's doing. Him and Brad Holmes building a team from scratch. They built that team from scratch. You know what I'm saying? And turned it into a winning machine over there, which is a beautiful thing, but you don't know what they base it off of. So I guess just with that, you just don't know. Like I was hearing, listening to Shannon Sharp talk about his brother Sterling Sharp, and he was asking why wasn't he in the Hall of Fame? He's like, I don't know. He had the best 7 years a wide receiver could have. Although his career was short, but it's a lot of guys that get in the Hall of Fame with a short career. So, it's like, what are they basing it off of? So you don't really know. You know what I'm saying? And I know the coaches probably don't get caught up in, I should have won this or that. Give it to him.
No.
So, so yeah, you don't know. Right now, if I had to go top two in that type of way, it would be Andy Reid and Dan Campbell. They're just winning consistently now. You know what I'm saying? They're
With
just winning. I
they
mean,
do
Andy Reid,
they do more with
Mahomes,
less.
and yeah, they do more with less. And yeah, but I also like what these other coaches are doing too. I know we love our respective teams, but we love football as a whole. You know what I'm saying? I
Oh,
watch every
absolutely.
game. Well, every Monday night, Thursday night, Sunday night, I watch all of it. Then I watch the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? So, and on Sunday, it's Giants, Red Zone, Chiefs, Red Zone. It's all football for me. So I pay attention to every single team. And I love talking to casual fans. I can say two or three things and then look at me and they don't want to talk to me no more. They like, oh,
Yeah.
dog, he watch football for real. Let me not talk to him.
Yeah. We've got a whole
You know what I'm
podcast built
saying?
around it. Once again, like and subscribe to our
Yeah.
YouTube channel at Heartland NFL Talk. You can catch my monologue series every week as well. Now, zooming out, let's look at a little playoff standings. We're through 13 weeks of the NFL season. Both the Lions
Mhm.
and Chiefs are 11-1, of course, number one seeds in the respective conferences. If the playoffs started today, the Lions and the Chiefs would have the number one seed. But zooming out a little further than that, in the AFC, as it presently stands, 2 play 7 in the playoffs, right? 7 teams get in. Number one seed gets a bye. Number 2 seed plays 7 seed. That would be Buffalo against Denver. And Buffalo, of course. I like Buffalo there. And then, of course, I've got Pittsburgh at the 3 seed, Houston at the 4. 4 plays 5. They'd play the Ravens. With the Chargers sitting at the 6, they'd play Pittsburgh, that 3 seed. So, my point in saying all that is that I need, and this is going to seem, Xavier, like I'm scared of the Bills or the Ravens. And by the way, I'm not. We're not. As a Chiefs kingdom, we're not. We have Patrick Mahomes. However, I don't want to have to go through both Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson to get to another Super Bowl. I'd like one or the other. I don't want to have to go through both again. So having said that, with the number 3 seed, the Pittsburgh Steelers, as of right now, playing the 6th seed, would play the 6th seed, the Chargers. But then if Pittsburgh wins, they would then go play probably Buffalo in the 2 seed. And then, of course, if Baltimore wins that first round, Kansas City would have to see Buffalo in that divisional round because you play the next lowest seed, right? Yeah. And so what scares me about that is then having to see Lamar Jackson in the divisional round and then probably Josh Allen and, of course, in the AFC Championship game. So I need Baltimore to hawk down Pittsburgh in that AFC North division. That way Buffalo and Baltimore are sitting at those 2 and 3 seeds. When they win, they have to play each other respectively in that divisional round. And the Chiefs would only have to see one in the AFC Championship game. I know I said a lot there. Does that make sense? Are you following me on that?
Yeah. It all makes sense. It's not saying that you want the easy way out. You just want a different way out.
But I
You know what I'm
want the
saying?
easy way out. And
I know you want the easy way out.
You know what? And I can't stand when people say, well, you want to beat the best, you got to beat the best, and I want to play everybody's best shot. I don't.
Yeah, you do.
I don't.
I mean,
I don't
that's
care.
you as the fan. I think that you do, but, I don't call it an easy way. I just call it a different way out. But you never know how that part of it is going to go. I think the Chiefs just have to figure out what they're going to do with the rest of these games for the rest of the season, because the way it looked like it's a chance they could fall off of that number 1 seed.
And Baltimore,
and even with Detroit, it looks like Detroit can fall off of that number 1 seed. The good thing is we have time as well. We've already beat Green Bay once. We've already beat Minnesota once. We beat Chicago once. Who else did we beat?
Barely.
Once in the NFC. It don't matter barely, but and the divisional games are always the hardest games. Y'all just
absolutely.
beat the Raiders.
You
know what I'm saying? So,
as they should be. And going back to the Steelers just real quick, they go to Cincinnati. That could be they could lose that ball game. They got the Browns. Browns are frisky with Jameis. Then you go to Philadelphia against the Eagles, to Baltimore, and then of course you come back you come back home and you play the Chiefs, and then the Bengals to end up the year. So I do think Baltimore hawks them down in that AFC North division, and I think they become the 3 seed, Buffalo the 2. all the better for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, to your point, I wanted to go to Detroit. Let's look at that NFC side of things. And right now, of course, the Detroit Lions, as we had mentioned, are the number one seed, sitting at 11-1 there. But then let's go down it. As of right now, you'd have Philadelphia play the Commanders. I like that. I don't even know if I don't know if the Commanders get into the playoffs. Another second half Cliff Kingsbury offensive team getting shut out and missing the playoffs and having a bad end of the year. That's what that's looking like right now. The Seahawks are still sitting number one in that NFC West division, currently at the 3 seed in the playoff format. But
I think the Cardinals passed them up. And
you like the Cardinals the rest of the way. You like the Cardinals.
I like the Cardinals the rest of the way. Over Seattle. Yeah, I understand. Seattle lost like 4 or 5 straight games.
Yeah,
after they played the Lions and started with the Lions, they were like 5 straight losses.
But they're winning the games that count. They're winning.
They are winning the games that count.
McDonald, their new defensive coordinator, their new head coach that came over from Baltimore. Yeah, their new head coach, he's got that defense humming now, and they're looking like Baltimore of old. I mean, you go right now, that NFC West is a jumbled mess. I mean, you've got 2 teams tied for 1 in the league. Seattle's sitting at 6-5. Cardinals are sitting at 6-5. The Rams at 5-6, and the 49ers at 5-6. How about the San Francisco 49ers, man?
Their time is up, man. Their time is up. It'll have to come to an end. And, people think Kyle Shanahan is going to get fired. He just signed an extension. But I think it's just time to redo the team. Just redo the team. You got your core players.
Purdy? What do you pay Purdy?
You kind of got to. I mean, soul searching for a
but 65 a year? And then they're never going to have – but that's what the market – that's what the market's looking – that's what the market's looking like.
Yeah, but I don't think he would push for that. I just don't see that. I don't think he will.
Oh, you think he kind of takes that? You kind of think he takes that? Hey, I want to continue to be able to put guys around me.
I think he'll take the 50 to 55 range like everybody else. He shouldn't even be getting that. He's doing his thing. He's sitting up in that box. Yeah, but anyway. So who? Yeah, they'll be right back next year. They'll regroup the team. They'll get rid of some players. They'll get rid of Debo. They'll probably get rid of Williams. All those guys that they're going to eventually have to replay, they will. And they'll just start from scratch, go to the draft and free agency, and that's what they'll do. So
I like Arizona as well. However, you go to Minnesota this weekend. Then you come back home against the Seahawks. Patriots win. Panthers frisky. Not saying they'll beat the Cardinals, but frisky. And then you go to L.A. to play the Rams, and you finish it off with the tough 49ers. So you've got 3 divisional games. Let's see. You've got 6 games left. 3 of them are divisional games. We'll see.
I'll give them 3 out of 3.
3-3. So that puts them. That puts them at 9-8. I don't know if 9 does 9 win gets you into the NFC. I don't know.
I'll only give Seattle 3 wins too. I think it'll boil down to when they play each other again. When the Cardinals and Seattle play each other again for that at least wild spot.
The Rams are still lurking
to win their division. Yeah, but the Rams, man, when you watch them play, they have an offensive line.
Yeah,
that offensive line is terrible.
But I can't doubt Matt Stafford.
They struggle to win. I can because I've watched enough to doubt. That's why they have more losses than wins.
That's why Matt Stafford has a Super Bowl win and Jared Goff doesn't. I know I throw sticks and stones. You're right.
Even go together.
You're right. You're
right. I bet you Matt Stafford had to kind of he got the Super Bowl.
I'm sorry.
He wouldn't mind being 11-1. Yeah.
Well, hell no, he
wouldn't mind being 11-1. This may be his last year because I don't think they want to pay him. I think they want to start from scratch with a whole other quarterback. So
I don't even know who their backup is out there in LA.
Who the backup is either, but they probably go to the draft and draft somebody. They're not going anywhere. It's going to be out of Arizona and Seattle West, NFC West. Who else was it? The NFC South? Probably Tampa Bay, the NFC South. Because it won't be 11 no more. I thought 11 is going to
Wow. You think Atlanta's still sitting currently number one in that division. Do you think
Oh, are
Tampa
they?
Bay runs
They
them?
may hold on to it.
Yeah, do you
Tampa
think
Bay is
Tampa
just
Bay
a
runs them
much better
down?
team. I
Yeah,
think so, and
Atlanta's
I think Mike Evans is back.
Yep.
Mike Evans is back.
Yep.
That's really all they need. They had some games they were supposed to win.
Yeah, they
They were
did.
supposed to win. Matter
Took
of
the
fact, they
Chiefs
had a
took the
crazy
Chiefs to
game against the
overtime. Yeah,
Chiefs.
I know.
Yeah, they had a
Everybody
crazy
does.
game against San Fran too, and Baker Mayfield, he just like, wow, I'm
He
balling
balling.
something,
Big's
and
balling
we
too.
can't get a win. Yeah, he balling. So I think Tampa Bay will come back and take that division.
Yeah, I mean, sitting there in the NFC South, you got Atlanta sitting at 6-5, Tampa Bay 5-6. Obviously, the Saints and Carolina are out of it. But then I wanted to finish up too with that last point, going to that NFC North. What I think is the toughest division in football, especially with Caleb Williams and the Bears, playing a little bit better. Matt Eberflus, real quick, the firing. I like it. You got to be with the clock management, the lack of player development.
Yeah, and you got
See,
some hot candidates coming out in the season, so they'll get somebody else. They'll get somebody else a shot. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. Good. I mean, he should have been. I mean, you got to know what to do. You the head coach, man. What the
yeah,
hell, man? But it's
and
not even just the Lions game. It's several games.
well, yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
just that one. You
This
know what I
isn't a
mean?
one
And they
off.
gave
Yeah,
you the
this isn't.
benefit of the doubt. You
They
know what
they
I'm saying? At
fired your
least
off.
they were.
They fired the OC before, and then they gave you a couple more ball games, and you just
At
crapped it
least they were
away. And
nice about it. They were nice about it. They gave you some chances. But when you embarrass the city like that on Thanksgiving, that just summed it up. Like,
And then, yeah, no,
we'll
I
see.
agree. I agree. And especially when you see your quarterback have that potential. And then lastly here, yeah, in that NFC North, you're looking at Detroit sitting at 11-1, Minnesota at 9-2, right on the heels. This is going into this upcoming weekend. So we would presume that
Yeah.
Minnesota finishes 10-2. So right hot on the heels. And then as we had mentioned, Thursday night, primetime, Amazon Prime game this next week against the Green Bay
Green Bay
Packers with
has
the
three
Lions.
losses, right?
Three
They have
losses.
three
They're sitting
losses.
at
Yeah.
9-3. Yeah. And so
Okay.
Detroit, and we don't have to get into it, but Detroit is a one fluky, and that fluky game was almost on Thanksgiving. And like I said, I'm not trying to rehash it, but I'm just saying it's the NFL. It goes the same for the Chiefs. It goes for the same
Yeah.
for all other 31
But we
football
could
teams.
still lose a game. We could lose a game and still get the number
And
one
still
seed.
be absolutely. But the problem with that is if you split with your division opponents, let's say you split with Minnesota and you split with Green Bay, and everybody, let's say, ends up with 3 losses. I think Minnesota and Green Bay have more than 3 losses at the end of the year. But let's just talk hypothetically. All 3 losses, you split with everybody. Now it's going to come down to strength of schedule, and you have all these weird tie-breaking scenarios. So Detroit is a one fluky, weird game from coming from the 1 seed, dropping to at least the 5. And, now the crazy part about that is I would still think Detroit's the favorite to come out of the NFC and represent them. But if it comes down to it, if I have to play the Philadelphia Eagles in that NFC Championship game, the Philadelphia
I would
Eagles
love
team,
it.
that they're
Detroit too.
oh god, but that's what I'm saying. If they fall to the 5 seed, that game's going to be in Philadelphia, and
I think they fall.
well, they would. If they don't win their division, they have to be at least the division winners get 1 through 4. So if they didn't win their division, okay, you say that. That's exactly my point. Oh yeah, they win. Yeah,
Don't get me
we're
wrong.
gonna get
Minnesota's
Green
good.
Bay.
Minnesota's good.
Green Bay's good. I'm telling
Minnesota
you, Green
already.
Bay's balling.
So it makes it slightly easier for us to beat them at home because we've already beat them in Minnesota. Brian Flores has had his packages against Detroit and he got beat. You know what I'm saying? Green Bay, we went up there. Everybody picked Green Bay to win. The whole damn world picked Green Bay to win because we were playing in their territory in their type of weather that they could practice in every day. And they play in majority. They play in that type of weather way more than we do, of course, because we're a down team. Who we dominated that game, won that game. At no point during that game did anybody think the Lions were going to lose during the game, but they thought they were going to lose before the game because everybody picked Green Bay. So now they come to Detroit, Thursday night game, since The last 3 years, Detroit hasn't lost a prime time game yet. We haven't
Okay.
lost a prime time game. So
Except for
Green
except
Bay
for
comes.
except for Thanksgiving. Except for Thanksgiving. Just because it's at 11:30
Yeah,
doesn't mean
yeah,
it's not prime time.
yeah, yeah. That's true.
I'm just messing.
Green Bay comes.
Yeah,
It's going to
yeah.
be a challenge, but we beat them
Yeah.
once. We can beat them again. They just
But
have to.
these are the tests you want in the regular season,
These
especially in
exactly,
December. Especially when you're getting primed
exactly,
up for that playoff run. You want these tests
exactly.
in December. And hey, speaking of the playoffs, with the win on Black Friday against the Las Vegas Raiders, the Kansas City Chiefs are the first team to punch their ticket to the playoffs. We clinched at least the playoffs.
Yeah, we haven't
So
clinched yet, have
10
we? Well,
straight
we need
year.
one more win. Do we need
Yeah,
one
I
more
believe
win
so.
to
Yeah, I
clinch?
believe so, and maybe somebody to lose because, like I said, you still have people on your heels. However,
Who does
you know,
Minnesota play tomorrow?
Minnesota has. Give me just a second here.
Division's played except for Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota's got the Cardinals, so there's our matchup right there. NFC West and Cardinals. That's right. We
Ooh, we
just
need
said
the
that. Yeah,
Cardinals to
and
win.
it's in Minnesota. So yeah, and then
It's
next
an
week we
afternoon
need.
game too. I'm watching that.
Yes, and then
Yeah,
next
I'm
week
watching that.
I need Detroit to beat Buffalo. So anyway, I
Yeah.
think that about wraps it up for our End Zone Insights segment. And I think that about wraps it up for us as a whole. Hey, do I have to beg? Do I have to beg? Like and subscribe. Press the sub button on our YouTube channel at Heartland NFL Talk. Let us know what we can do better. Let us know what you want to hear. We'd like to engage with you guys in the comments. Let us know. Xavier, any last notes?
Good conversation today. Go Lions, go Chiefs. Then football has been great. It's crazy that we started this and both teams are sitting at, you know, 10-1. I mean 11-1, and it's just insane to see. Just
And on that note,
insane.
listeners, if the Lions and the Chiefs do both make it to the Super Bowl, we might have a little surprise for you guys. So stick
Yeah.
with us all year. This is something fun. This is something we've been having fun doing, and we appreciate your guys' support. So like I said, like and subscribe at Heartland NFL Talk on YouTube. You can check out my monologue series, and that's a wrap. Go Chiefs.
Go Lions.